Yo, your main may be treasure, but the arguments that you had on Dr. Phil were pure trash. Yo, what's up? I'm Jaded Nerd, and I wanted to talk to y'all about this video that's kind of going around online, and it's a clip from Dr. Phil's show. It's a young African American lady named Treasure, and she identifies as being a white person, and she actually feels like every other African American and black person has a problem. What's wrong with us? We're ugly, we're stupid. She does not play around. So if you haven't heard, there's this clip going around, and we have this 16-year-old girl, and basically she's saying a whole lot of racist, bigoted, ignorant things at the expense of black people. There are a couple of things that will jump out at you as you watch this. Basically the way she looks, the way she speaks, the rhetoric. But I want y'all to check this clip out, and then I'll come back and then I'll give y'all the rest of my commentary.
I know a lot of people take issue with my beliefs. I'm white. I'm a Caucasian because everything about me is different from an African American. I have naturally straight hair. My hair isn't nappy. It doesn't require weave. My nose is not giant as like African Americans. My lips are perfect. They're not too big and they're not too small. Like, they're just perfect. My ears, I don't have black people ears because they're really giant. Most African Americans speak ghetto. But when it comes to black people, I think they're all ugly and I have nothing in common with them. I'm different from African Americans because I'm white. My figure is just like Kim Kardashian, and she's a wonderful role model. I act and I think like a white person instead of a black person. I believe that I'm completely and utterly better than them. Like, we're on two different levels. Like, okay, African Americans are here, I'm here. White people act and think just way more mature than African Americans. Black people, they think in a criminal way. When I think about African Americans, I feel like asking them, what is wrong with them? They're really dangerous. If an African American is on the same street as I am, I'll cross the street to avoid their chaotic, thuggish ways.
Are you okay?
I'm irritated.
I'm sorry.
I just know that I'm white. I mean, she might not know that I'm white, but I know that I'm white. I can feel it through my veins. I feel it through my blood. I tell my mom I'll never be like any of those Negroes. My mom tries to criticize me about my supposed race. I tell her she's just ignorant. There's nothing wrong with my views or beliefs because I have freedom of speech and everything I'm saying is true.
Okay, Treasure, how are you this morning?
Pretty great. How are you?
I'm all right.
That's great.
Now, you've been listening to everything we've talked about so far,
Yes,
right?
I have.
And is there anything that your mom has said or told me about that's inaccurate, incomplete, or that you want to add something to?
Well, I mean, actually, yeah. You guys called me delusional earlier, and I feel like the only people
I did not call you delusional. I asked your mother if she thought you were delusional.
Yes, well, you asked her that question. I would like to clarify the fact that I am nowhere near delusional. I'm actually very capable and a very intelligent person, so.
Being delusional and being intelligent are not mutually exclusive.
Well, I feel like if you're being delusional, then you gotta be some type of retarded, and I'm not that.
Well, I have two things to say about that. Number one, that's absolutely just simply not the fact. And number two, using that word is very derogatory. So I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't use that word.
Yeah, well, okay, well, I'll understand, only because I'm a very respectful person, and if you wish that I don't use that word, then I most definitely won't use it.
Okay, appreciate that.
Okay, no problem.
When you say that you believe yourself to be Caucasian, tell me why you believe that to be true.
Well, I know I'm a Caucasian because when I wake up in the morning, I just have such a great life. And that my hair is so perfect, my skin isn't ugly, and I'm not fat also, which is also a really African American thing. So, like, I'm just nowhere near like them. And plus, they're so thug and criminal that I can't relate.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I mean, that's just so riddled with ignorance, I don't even know how to respond.
Okay.
And I'm not saying it to be insulting. Ignorance doesn't mean lack of intelligence, it means lack of information. I think you're confusing the concept of race and ethnicity, because race is really biologically determined.
I know I'm biologically white. I feel it through my veins and through my blood. I don't just think I'm white. I know that I'm white.
From the moment this video starts and she begins to speak, it's very easy to have a negative reaction and say, what the heck is wrong with this girl? Now, I'm going to preface this by saying I will not call her out her name. She's 16 years old. I will not disrespect her. However, I will debunk a lot of this garbage that she did say because it's garbage. And I feel like she can be held accountable. Just because she's 16, it does not mean that she doesn't have an intellectual mind. She understands, or perhaps she will understand if it's brought to her attention. There was just a disdain and there was an elitist attitude about what she said, how she said it, and how she perceives the difference or the gap between white people and black people. The second thing that jumped out at me is when she started talking about, I guess, people that she considered white role models. And when she talked about Kim Kardashian, when she called out Kim Kardashian, and when she said that her body is shaped like Kim Kardashian, who's a wonderful role model, I damn near threw my phone. I threw my phone because I'm thinking, but you are talking about someone that has modeled her body after black women. There was something else that kind of jumped out at me, and I was thinking about how she talked about how we're thuggish, and how if she saw an African-American person walking down the same street that she was on, she would cross to the other side. I was thinking, and I'm looking at her because I'm like, she's brown-skinned. It isn't like she's light-skinned or fair-skinned or, Creole or mulatto or whatever. You brown-skinned girl. So if a white person, and if they were racist, were to see you without the benefit of watching Dr. Phil, or without the benefit of hearing your rhetoric or your attempt to use a European vernacular, they want to see a black girl. And if they don't like black people, they don't like you. When she talked about her hair, I'm telling you, okay, this is my thing. If you say your hair is so great and it's not like black people's hair and you don't need weaves or whatever, okay, let's throw some water on your hair and then let's see how black you are. I promise you, you throw some water up on there, we'll see some truth. I think this young lady has dealt with something in her life in her early years. It could have been emotional abuse, physical, verbal. Maybe she was teased or bullied. It could have been a situation where maybe she lived in a town or a city or somewhere where there were not a lot of black people. Maybe the rhetoric that she's repeating, because it sounds like it's being repeated. It doesn't sound like something, because she hasn't lived long enough to formulate an opinion about life. She ain't got no opinion. You get what I'm saying? You're still figuring things out. I'm 37. I just now figured one or two things out. I got a hell of a lot more to figure out. This young lady don't know anything. So when you listen to her talk about, some of these things are just so ignorant. And I'm not talking about like Dr. Phil broke it down. He was like, I'm not talking about lack of intelligence. I'm talking about being not informed, not having all of the information. You are ignorant in that fact. I think that we've gotten to a point in society where people want to stand out. People want to be special. People want to be what everybody else isn't. So it could be a combination of she is delusional, she is dealing with some things that happened, and then she also maybe just doesn't feel particularly special, and she hates herself. I'm telling you, this is super easy. The life coach even said she doesn't hate black people. She does not hate black people. She can't hate African-American people because she is African-American. It's evident that she does not like herself. Now, the question to ask is why? Was it something that was done to her, said to her? Was it close people? Could have been friends, kids. It could have been anything. Her mother is there. Her mother is African-American, but she is lighter skinned. So I'm wondering, was it inadvertently done by her mother that her mom could have said something, done something, or may have made comments while her daughter was so little, not thinking that she was paying attention, and she took that in? I'm telling you, I believe there is some dysmorphic issues going on. There is some colorism. There is some PTSD from whatever happened to this girl. There's just a whole bunch of messed up going on. It's sad because other little black girls may watch this, or other little black girls may see this or hear about this, and then they may begin to question whether or not they're pretty or beautiful, or what's wrong with them. Are they ugly? Are they stupid? Are they fat? There's so much, and I'm hoping that somebody takes this young lady. I'm hoping that this life coach, I'm hoping that the appearance on the Dr. Phil show, I'm hoping that the community, the neighborhood, the village, whatever, I'm hoping that people can really reach out and get to this girl and let her know, look, you are trying to equate stereotypes and narratives to race and ethnicity. You're ill-informed. You're misinformed. You have no clue what you're talking about. If anything, she has She has an embarrassment of riches. Beautiful complexion, beautiful features, but the attitude and this cognitive dissonance makes her ugly. It makes her unattractive, and I feel sorry for her. I feel sorry for her because in this age of social media and in this age of you put something out there, whether it's in print or you tweet or you put it on Facebook or you make a video or whatever, it's out there. So it could be a situation where years from now she might wake up and be like, "Wow, that was dumb," or she may have some epiphanies and may see things differently. But then she'll have this following her. She'll have this, and she'll have to explain this to her children, to her son, to her daughter. Or hopefully she does not pass this down to them, because then we'll have more situations where people are ashamed of how they look. I have questions about her upbringing. I have questions about who was around her. Were there any other women of color, any women of influence? Where was her father? And if the biological father was not there, who was the father? Who was the stepfather? Was he a white guy? Was he someone else that was spewing this rhetoric? Spewing this language? Is that how she got it? There are so many unanswered questions, but I think my initial reaction was to drag her, really get hyperbolic, do something funny for the video, some clicks or whatever. But I really started thinking and I was like, wait a minute, we should be sad. This is sad. This is sad that in 2018, it's easier for someone to just say, I'm not comfortable in my own skin, literally. But I wonder what you all think about this. What did y'all think of the video? What do you think of her statements? Do you identify? And if so, why? If you feel like what she's saying is pure garbage and trash, please put that in the comment section as well. I would love to hear what y'all have to say. If you can, please throw a like on the video, subscribe, and share. It's greatly appreciated. I'm Jaded Nerd. I'll talk to y'all next time.